you gotta get shoes on. So today is canning pickle day, isn't it? We could go outside and still pick several more cucumbers off the vine that are really big because it's been raining crazy. And if I let them go anymore, they're gonna just be too big. So we're gonna have to go outside right now. Yeah, we gotta get shoes on first. Let's put our shoes on. All right, you ready to get shoes on? I'm excited to do this with one hand. Shoes on. Mama's gonna get her shoes on now. Okay. Oh, shoes. All right, guys, we can go outside and get those cucumbers. And then we're gonna be pickling and canning cucumbers today. Yeah, we gotta go pick cucumbers. It's super nice out in between the rain, huh? Need help? Step down. Here comes Miss Callie. She's gonna help pick cucumbers. Hey, Cal. So it's literally been raining for like probably a good 24 hours. Pretty crazy last night. I thought we might have a tornado. But some of the cucumbers are huge. I had left them on the vine from like 2 days ago because they just weren't quite that size. And now I think they're probably ready to pick just because the rain has probably just drastically made them grow. Can y'all see that sucker right there? It is absolutely huge, just chilling there. There are several like that that need to be picked. This garden, it probably looks a lot different since y'all last saw. It's just really taken off. Look at that squash. It's just almost past halfway the trellis, and the butternut on the other side, I've actually been training it up, even though it's a bush and it's doing all right. It's definitely been more hassle than I would give it credit for, so I probably won't be doing bush squash again. But okay, buddy, let's go pick the cucumbers. Sunflowers are out too. It's just the garden's looking really good. Well, that's super sad. It looks like either the rain and the wind blew some of the tomatoes down, or the dog decided it wanted to push it down. So definitely have to do something with that. That is really upsetting. We'll have to tie them up and give them some support. Can't have that. I think this is the biggest cucumber yet on these bush compact plants. Super cool. You ready to pick it? You excited? You gonna pick cucumbers? Walking away with my cucumber. Putting in the garden pool. Looks like we've got another guy over here that's ready. Good sized cucumber. Got a lot more coming on. But these two are definitely ready to be picked, so we can get to canning our pickles, sweetheart. So I think the first step is to probably wash all these dishes before I get to canning these pickles here. All done. Trick to keep your cast iron pans from rusting, husband taught me, is to put them on the stove on low heat until they dry. And then your pans will never rust. So the first thing I did after I washed the dishes, of course, was I just took some white vinegar with some warm water, and I literally just wiped down all the countertops with it, just to kind of sanitize everything where I'm gonna be canning and stuff, because that's really important. You wanna make sure everything is sanitized, your area, before you start canning, just so, you know, when you can, nothing bad gets in the jars. So my tripod just completely broke. So I'm gonna have to just kind of record this in bits and pieces, and I'm definitely gonna have to be investing in a tripod for my phone. Well, some of the things that you're gonna need to start canning is like some type of rack or silicone trivet or something to put in the bottom of your big saucepan that you're gonna use to water bath your pickles. A funnel is handy to be able to, you know, pour stuff in, but we don't really need that right now because we're not doing jam or anything. And of course, you're gonna wanna have these tongs to be able to pull the hot jars out of your water bath, and that's super handy. And then another tool is this air bubble tamper, and or you can measure like the head space in your jars, and whatever the recipe calls for. Just to make sure you're getting that correct headspace so your cans will seal correctly. And all this stuff you can just get in like a starter kit. That's what I did. It comes in all of it, and I'll post a link below on to where I got it And the recipe I'm using for this literally just comes straight from the Ball website. You can just go to Google Ball, and that's what I trust and what most people recommend when you're canning for the first time, not to just go on a random blog because you don't know how it's going to work. But this is what my recipe calls for. I'm doing the sliced dill pickles. Makes about 5 16-ounce pint jars, and I have tons of jars already, but I just went and purchased some new ones because I didn't have any new seals, and I didn't have just seals to purchase. So I'll also link below the jars that I'm going to use, and just want to thank y'all for shopping through any of those links that I provide, because I do get a very small commission anytime that you do purchase through them, and it definitely goes back into helping the farm and making more videos. So I'm super appreciative of that. And 5, and I'm using the wide mouth. I'm just gonna go ahead, and I had already sanitized all these of my old ones to go on and use for pickles, but I needed, like I said, to pick up new lids, which you're not supposed to reuse old lids to seal, just in case they don't work. I know people have done it before, but I'm not even gonna try doing it. I'm just gonna put these kind of back in the spots for the new jars. And you also want to make sure you have like either a cutting board or a place on the counter to put your hot cans on, you know, or like some type of mat like this that's clean to set all your jars on after you get them out of the water bath. And of course, like a mitt of some type. I have this really cool mitt right here that I could just put my hands in and kind of, you can kind of see, like grab them, which is cool. So you make sure you want to have that, and then you're gonna want to go on and get what pot you're gonna use ready. Get your trivet in the bottom of it, get your water in there, get it heated up. I think what I'm using, it's my grandma's old pot. I think it's about 18 quarts here, just a big saucepan with a lid. Nothing's fancy or special. Getting my water bath ready right now. It's probably not going to fill up the whole thing because this is a really big sauce pot, and we'll be using pint ball jars. You know, just probably enough to cover it, about 1 inch the top. And then I'm just going to put all my jars in here once the water starts to get hot but not boiling, so I can get them sanitized. And the lids and the seals, I'm just gonna wash in soapy water and maybe dunk them in some white vinegar in here, and then they'll be ready to use. Just kind of set them on my cloth so they're all ready to be put on the top once my pickles are done and ready, so they can be sealed. So that looks about good, about 1 inch of headroom about. Try to make sure they're not touching. Unfortunately, they're touching a little bit. I might have to take one out and then kind of swap it out and sanitize it, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna get my water going on the stove now. So while my water bath is getting ready and my jars are heating up ready to be sanitized, I'm getting another saucepan ready to put like my vinegar in and my spices and my sugar and all of that to bring that to a boil and dissolve. And then I'm also going to cut up, I want to put onions in with the cucumbers, and gonna get all my cucumbers ready and sliced as well. Pour some garlic. Can't have pickles without that, right? Also, I need to make note, all my cucumbers I've actually put in a big pot of water and like soaked them for 20 minutes just so they get unrubbery and they get crunchy again. Just a quick tip. My eyes, they're starting to water. I swear I'm not crying. So I got all my onions cut up and I managed not to cry all the way. And now I'm gonna just get my garlic ready. I'm just gonna throw the whole cloves just straight into the jars with my other spices in to pickle. Quick tip that I learned from my 100% Italian grandma actually, to get these off really fast is if you just take like one of these big kind of paddle knives and you kind of just slam on the whole clove with your fist. It will literally break free and you won't have to worry about peeling the garlic clove. Huh? It didn't work exactly this time, but it works almost every time. What?
I said, do you call herbs herbs?
Herbs?
No, you say herbs, yeah.
I say plants.
See how many mouths?
I heard you making fun of me. Making fun of me, my accent. I mean, I am British. So are you. I actually just switched knives. This is like a really, really old knife. It's probably like 30 years old or more, but this knife works a lot better when doing this because it's not sharp. So you don't have to worry about stabbing yourself when you do it. See how much better that worked? It just split right off. Oh. See, literally, the clove just, the covers just split off. Super easy. Get a dull knife. Well, okay, that's enough of garlic. So now I'm actually gonna go on and cut all my cucumbers and just put all the slices in like a big steel bowl. And I'm just gonna cut the ends off and cut them in about 1/4 inch slices lengthwise down the cucumber. You can probably get all fancy with this and everything, you know, with one of those kind of wave things that they use to make the slices wavy, but I don't have it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I don't think it's a big deal. Yum. Oh, it looks like the water bath is ready, so I'm gonna leave them in there until I have all of my my cucumbers cut, and then pull them out afterwards. And for this recipe, you're gonna need about 14 cups of cucumbers, 13 cups of sliced cucumbers right here. Like I said, 1/4, you can just guess, it doesn't have to be perfect, 1/4 inch wide, cut lengthwise down your cucumber. By the time I get done with cutting all these, I'm gonna have what I need. So good. What I'm doing is here, I'm just like slicing all my cucumbers and I'm putting them in a bowl of cold water because like my son just woke up. Just like you have to do stuff where you get cut up. This way the cucumbers aren't going to get dehydrated or rubbery or whatever. And I also need to mention that when you do any of your canning, you want to make sure you use blemish-free, really good, in good condition fruit. So y'all can see here like the shape that my cucumbers are in. Just make sure you don't use any like rotten, spoiling, or fruit that's kind of going and or kind of on the point. You want to use really good blemish-free produce to can and preserve with. So my jars have been ready for a good while now, and I'm still working on cutting up my cucumbers. I'm gonna make sure I have 13 cups of cut cucumbers, and I'm just gonna go on and prepare my vinegar mixture with my sugar and my salt and my spices in a stainless steel bowl. I'm gonna need 4 cups of apple cider vinegar, 4 cups of water, 3/4 cup of sugar, and you're gonna need a 1/2 cup of salt and your spices, whatever you're gonna use. I don't think it has to be a perfect measurement. I'm just gonna shove everything in the bottom of the jars after I pull them out of the hot water. And yeah, just take all that. I'm gonna take my vinegar, my sugar, my salt, and kind of get it to all dissolve in the hot pan. And then that will be what I use to pour over my pickles in the sanitized jars for the brine. So here we go, 4 cups of raw apple cider vinegar. Make sure to do store-bought because it's gotta be 5% acidity for canning. I'm gonna turn my heat up to, oh, that's really hot. I just burnt myself on that pot. It's almost boiling. You don't wanna get your sanitized jars to boiling, so I probably should take that lid off, turn it down a little bit. turn this up to like medium high so it can dissolve. 4 cups water. 3/4 cup sugar, and I'm using just a pure sugar cane, Demara kind of sugar. It's actually a Mexican sugar. My husband uses a lot for his coffee, so that's what we use. You can get it in bulk, and I'll put links for that below. Last but not least, I'm just using iodized sea salt. I know some people will, you know, and they get kosher salt and stuff. It doesn't really matter. Iodized sea salt is just fine for this purpose. 1/2 cup of salt. You can go on and get the ball pickling salt. But honestly, to me, it's just a little too much money to go on and do that. There's nothing wrong with just plain old iodized salt, or you can go a step ahead and use sea salt like I'm doing here. A little bit more. Okay, let's add that to my mixture and get it all dissolved in there. Ready to pour over my cucumbers. I think this is getting quite close. I've used and cut up almost all of my harvested cucumbers from the garden that Tobie and I harvested in the past about 4 days. I have the 2 that I picked this morning that y'all saw, and just 2 more from that. I think there's about maybe 18 medium to large cucumbers. So I think I'm getting there. If I need more, I can always just cut them up if I need a little bit more to pack into my jars. But I think because I have the onion, I think I'll be good with probably what I have here. So the spices that I'm going to be using is obviously whole cloves. You all saw me dehull them. Fresh chopped onion. I didn't have any fresh dill. I didn't grow any like a silly Millie in the garden this year, and they don't have any fresh in the store. So dill, black peppercorns, a little bit of red chili pepper. They also don't sell whole mustard in the store either, which is crazy, and I don't have any of that growing. So ground mustard, some bay leaves, and yep, so that's what I'm putting in there. You can kind of mix and play. It doesn't have to be a science. Sometimes I put lemon balm in my refrigerator, pickles before, pretty much whatever you have on hand, what you want to make it taste like, if you want it sweet. But I'm kind of going to go with like a dill pickle with a little bit of spice in it, with obviously lots of garlic and onion. So I'm literally about to pack these cucumbers into these jars right now. I just have to lift the hot jars out until my board over here. Like I showed you earlier, I've got my spices and my onions, everything ready, the cucumbers ready to pack into these hot jars, and then pour my brine over it. We are just waiting on the brine mixture for the sugar and the salt to dissolve into the vinegar. Right now I have it over medium-high heat. I'm getting my jars out. I'm just pouring all of the hot water with my grabbers out, and I'm just going to put them on this surface and then pack them all with my garlic and my onions and my spices, and then pack them with the cucumbers. I'm just going to do this for all of them. I'm going to be very careful because it's really hard to video with one hand and do this with almost boiling hot water. Now I've got all 6 of them out ready and cooling. My sanitized pint ball jars, there's about 6 of them here. Just put the top back on the hot water bath, because after I get these jars packed, I'm gonna have to put the lids back on and pack them into here and process for about 15 minutes so the seals will seal on my freshly made pickle jars. So there's no science to this. I'm literally just gonna take like a couple cloves of each and just kind of put them down in the bottom of my jars. Same with the onions, a bunch of them, and my spices, and just pack the cucumbers in here. About, I think the recipe says here you want to leave, you do with this little nifty measuring tool here, 1/2 inch of head space. So I'm just going to find the 1/2 inch and just make sure that each of these have 1/2 inch of head space before my seals go on the jars. I'm about to crack up right now. I just opened this up the wrong side. Just pour it all out. You definitely don't want that much crushed red pepper in one jar. Your mouth would be on fire. I promise you, I did not use all of those red pepper flakes in one jar. I ended up just splitting them amongst all of them. So they might be a little spicy, but not too spicy. I think the only one probably brave enough to try all of that, and the one would be Dominic, my husband. So now I'm just gonna pack all of the cucumbers and leave, like I said, 1/2 inch space in all of these jars. And then when I'm done with that, I'm gonna take my vinegar and I'm just gonna kind of go around each of the rims just to make sure they're all sanitized and everything before I put my lids on. It looks like I'm actually probably gonna have more than enough after my cans are packed to make some creamy cucumber salad. So I'm super happy about that since I have several growing on the vine and a couple, so I'm gonna do that. And y'all definitely, if you're interested on learning or having ideas on how to what to do with your cucumbers after you harvested all of them, I actually made a video on 5 different things that you can do with your freshly harvested cucumbers, and if you're interested in watching that, just click right up here. Now I'm just going on ahead and ladling my hot brine that we made over here, and I'm gonna make sure and adjust to leave 1/2 inch headspace before I put my seals on. All right, so I got all my brine on these, and I wiped them with vinegar, the rims, before I set these on, and I just centered all of my lids on top of my jars and just tightened them finger tight. I didn't hand grind them on or anything because I don't want them to be really hard. Take it off once the seals form on there. And I do have leftover brine, so I haven't decided if I'm gonna make more or not, or maybe I'll make some refrigerator pickles with it when I have more cucumbers in the next couple of days. But now I just have to put these back in the hot water bath for 15 minutes and process them, and they should be all ready to put in my cabinet, my pantry, once the seals seal. And about 24 hours I'll wait and I'll put them in my pantry and I'll be all done. I'll have yummy fresh pickles from the cucumbers that I harvested in my garden. "15 more minutes and then we're all done." So thanks y'all for joining me in my kitchen today and preserving the harvest cucumbers and canning and getting these yummy pickles that are gonna be made that I'm gonna be able to eat and have for the rest of the year, and probably making tons more pickles from the garden. But right now my son's about to wake up. I'm gonna make him lunch. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell to see my next video, comment if you have a question, share. Thanks from the bottom of my heart, y'all. Be blessed.